Well, yeah, I mean, he'll say it. I mean, he'll say it. I mean, he has no problem saying it because, in my opinion, the people he's saying it to are not going to question him. I mean, that's. I mean, he has decided, hey, I don't need to talk to those people who are going to question me. I'm going to go to these duds who are just going to publish what I have to say without even again, asking, oh, excuse me, Governor, but the truth is this, how do you respond to that? So let me just ask you this question, because we do have an election coming up for Louisiana governor and also for legislature across the board, and we're talking about the fact that Governor Jindal dropped the ball in terms of his being out of town and his being on the campaign trail and his doing this and that, but wait a minute, what about the fact that maybe it's just his policies? It's the policies. I mean, if I'm the Democratic Party, and I think, Lawrence, you and I talked about this before on a recent hangout, if I'm a Democratic Party, I'm going to run against Jindal, but I'm going to run against his policies. And if I'm a Democrat running for a state government, I'm going to run against Jindal's policies. The policies, you cannot, if you want to have the same government that you had the year before, can you go and can you keep taxes low? I mean, how do you do it? That's the problem. We're in this position right now because of the fact that in year one of Jindal's government, okay, he completely changed the policy of the state of Louisiana. And he was hoping to have income coming in, and it didn't come in. And as a result, we've had to use one-time money because we didn't have enough revenues coming in. So that's the bottom line as far as I'm concerned. You've got to change the policy. What Republican is going to do that?
Well, I would think.
Let's ask him.
Find out. Yeah, in the debates, at least, I think none of the three major Republicans have said they won't take the Medicare, Medicaid funding procedure, or Medicaid procedure, where there's some $18 billion available to Louisiana over the next 10 years. They're leaving that door open. They haven't said. I think Darden and Angel both said yes, and Vitter says probably yes. When you look at the tax breaks, they've all been very aggressive in terms of the giveaways. And gosh, Lord knows how much we've given away in this state. We've just given the Department of Economic Development a checkbook and said, go buy any business any way you can. And so I think there's been some rhetoric that is much more cautious in terms of Jindal's policies. Now, specifics, no, as Lawrence said, they haven't gotten specific at all. But at least the tone has been to take on the governor, to say we've been irresponsible. We may have to look at that. We either look at or take the Medicaid money. So there at least is a little bit more chatter. Now, I haven't gone back and checked. You may say, yeah, if you go back 8 years, Jindal said the same thing. But of course, and 8 years ago, we had $1 billion surplus when Kathleen Blanco, poor old Kathleen, everybody beat up on poor old Kathleen. She left the state with $1 billion in the bank. But whatever the rhetoric then was, at least, it's not hard right. No, 1,000 times no. Let's strictly talk about social issues. You don't see that coming across in the debate so far of the major candidates for governor.
Well, and I think that people aren't focused on the governor's race right now, or the legislature races right now. But I mean, for an example, David Vitter was against the stimulus, was against the bailout, didn't want to spend a penny of government money, and railed everybody who was willing to do that. So now what? He's running for governor, and he's saying, hey, what's wrong with the government? Well, what's wrong with government money? Let's take it. I mean, and that's hypocrisy, isn't it?
Well, he won't be the first hypocrite that well, I guess on the other hand, maybe he's seen the light and seeing the. And now the question is, will he just look at you? Well, Earl Long said, what do I tell him, Governor? You promised them. So, well, tell the bastards I lied. I don't know if he got crass, but at least Vitter is I think he realizes he's got a massive problem, and they all do, and as a consequence, he's just not trying to paint himself into a corner where he can't use these funds, and I hope he uses the funds. I think it's just been a disaster not to take the funds to begin with.
So would you agree that the Democrats then, as much as they're despised in Louisiana over the last 8 years because of the very reason, the economic policies, I should say for the most part, would you say that their argument, would seem to resonate more? Now, I know Bernie Pinsonet's poll indicated that people are more inclined to vote for Republicans this election season than Democrats, but the arguments really haven't been out there yet. So I'm just raising the question as whether or not Democrats are going to make a comeback, because now even David Vitter is going to have to make a Democratic / base argument.
Well, again, look, the race has not really begun yet. And these polls, and I think Bernie's poll is right on target, at least as far as today's world is concerned. But we have to run the race. And so from the standpoint of a Democrat and the standpoint of John Bel Edwards running for governor as a Democrat, I agree. I think he's going to run against the policies that this state has been using for the past 7.5 years. I think he'll definitely run against that, and he'll attempt to wrap those policies around the other candidates. Now, the question is going to be
the Jindal Vitter policies. Yeah, the Jindal Vitter policies.
He's going to try to wrap them around the other Republicans, or the Republicans. And then the question is are the voters going to distinguish these candidates from Bobby Jindal? If they don't, then you're going to see those numbers change. John Bel Edwards is going to do much better than he's doing right now. But if they like the general conservative Republican policies, but believe that these candidates won't go down the exact same path, then it's really going to be a battle between 3 Republicans against 1 Democrat. And the likelihood is that, at least in today's world, the Republican candidate who makes the runoff with the Democrat is going to win. So Jim, we have to run the race. We have to run the race.
Jim, you agree?
I do, and I think that Lawrence is right on. The Louisiana has more interest and support of positions on social issues than virtually any other state in the country, on issues like gay marriage and abortion and so many of these social issues. That drives so much of the vote from Baton Rouge north, and so that puts that into the Republican camp. Even though you may be on food stamps, you may have an 8th grade education, and you're living up in up in my old district, up in Faraday or something like that. By and large, today you vote Republican. To some degree, there's racial tones to that decision. So that is a plus for the Republicans, because they get as Lawrence says, let's assume that whoever gets in, Vitter's leading right now in the runoff. If John Bel Edwards holds like he is, actually an articulate guy that could actually grow. But once he gets into that runoff, you get the knee-jerk Republicans who just whether it's racial, whatever the social issues, whatever it is, are going to pull that Republican lever. We saw that with Mary Landrieu. We've seen that in Bernie's poll. We've just seen it time after time, and I just don't think that's going to change.